Birmingham. This is a regular meeting of the Birmingham City Council. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. I want to start out this morning by recognizing our officers on duty. We have Cedric Pinkard from the downtown precinct, Greg Gauthier from the West Precinct, and Desmond Earl from West Precinct. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Bishop Jonathan L. Woods of All Nations Church in Fairfield, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Counselor Carol Clark. If you're willing and able, please stand.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, we come before your presence, praising you and honoring you, God, and in the spirit of what your word says, in all of our ways, we ought to acknowledge you, and you will direct our path. So, God, we ask now that you would allow your spirit to enter this room, allow your wisdom to enter this room. God, we thank you for the leaders of our city. We thank you for our mayor. We thank you for all of the city council members and everyone, God, that has a say in the life that we live here in this beautiful city called Birmingham, Alabama. God, we need you. We can't do anything without you. So I pray, God, for the spirit of unity to enter this room, of peace and collaboration. I pray, God, that your counsel will come, that your kingdom will come, that your will be done, and ultimately, God, that our city will continue to evolve into the place that you've called it to be. I thank you now that all is going to go well and beautiful today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Abbott. Present. Councilmember Clark. Present. Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Smitherman. Good morning. Good morning. Councilmember Tate. Good morning. Good morning. Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods. Good morning. Good morning. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Council President O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The minutes from the November 7th, 2023 through February 27th, 2024 meetings are not ready. This time, Chief Sparks are bringing us communications from the mayor.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Good morning. Good morning to the members of the council. Good morning to the members of the public and to all under the sound of my voice. First of all, Mr. President, we're very excited that we have this morning some very special students here in the council chambers. We have students from the Miracle Academy Private Christian School and their co-founder, Mr. Gregory Mullen. They're joining us to watch government in action. And on behalf of Mayor Whitfield, can we ask all of the students in the school administration, if they could, please stand at this time. On behalf of Mayor Whitfield and the entire city of Birmingham, we want to welcome you all. We're so glad to have you today. Mr. Mullen provided the mayor with a signed copy of a book written by, I think, his daughter, Miracle's Best Birthday Parties Ever. So we'll make sure that the mayor gets this copy. I'm glad to have you all here. There's Miracle right there. Good to see you, Miracle. All right. Mr. President, and to all of the members of the public, today is considered Super Tuesday across this country. The mayor has continued to encourage everyone to please exercise your right to vote. As Birminghamians, we are the beneficiaries of the blood, sweat, and tears shed right here in our city for this very precious freedom. So encouraging everyone, please go out and vote. Please join Mayor Woodfin and the Birmingham City Council for a very special budget town hall, which will be held on Monday, March the 18th. They will discuss the city budget, how decisions are made, what goes into the neighborhoods, and our upcoming city projects. This event will be held from 6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. at the Boutwell Auditorium, located at 1930 Reverend Abraham Woods Jr. Boulevard. some fun for our city. The city of Birmingham will host an Easter egg hunt on Sunday, March 28th. The community is invited to come out to Railroad Park from 1 to 4 p.m. There will be music, food trucks, face painting, and more. And the mayor encourages citizens of all age to come out, but he's also asking for the adults to please not debo the small kids and take all of the eggs. All month long, we are paying tribute to the amazing women of Birmingham during the city's annual Strong Her campaign. We're asking for everyone, please be sure to check the stories out on social media every day in the month of March. You will definitely be inspired by the sheroes from our community. And a big special shout out to the senior project manager of the mayor's office, Ms. Shonda Temple, who leads this initiative and does an amazing job capturing the stories of many of our citizens and the hearts of our community. It's that time again, as I've mentioned, the Department of Youth Services and Fox 6 are once again partnering to host the annual Youth Summer Employment Program, Kids and Jobs. Kids and Jobs was founded to expose Birmingham youth ages 14 to 21 to the workforce and to cultivate the professional growth required for students to become active members of the Birmingham community. The application period is from March 11th through April the 12th. Applications can be found on bhamyouthfirst.org. For businesses that are looking to host Kids and Jobs employees this summer, we ask that you please visit the website to complete a program partner application. For more information, you can contact 205-320-0879. As a reminder, all single-family residents are now under the same uniform cart system. Businesses located on residential waste routes needing up to 2 carts and multifamily dwelling units of 4 or fewer may apply for carts at a fee per cart. Any businesses needing more than 2 carts or any apartments or multifamily dwellings needing more than 4 carts will no longer be serviced by the city of Birmingham. The Department of Public Works has been addressing these issues on a case-by-case basis for residents who live on difficult terrain. For more information, you can go to www.birminghamal.gov/pickup if you need, again, additional info. City of Birmingham will also continue to keep residents informed about bulk trash pickup with daily updates online at birminghamal.gov/bulk trash. Mr. President, I have a couple of presentations that I need to do on the mayor's behalf. So at this time, I would like to ask Ms. Stacy Scott of the Lymphatic Center of Hope LLC and any of her guests to please join me at the podium. Mr. President, members of the council, members of the public, lymphedema is a chronic, incurable medical condition affecting the lymphatic system, which causes extreme swelling in various parts of the body, developing from genetics, trauma, injury, and obesity. Today, we are taking a moment to recognize Lymphedema Awareness Day with a special proclamation that I will read in part. And it reads, whereas March 6 marks National Lymphedema Awareness Day, a day to educate the world about lymphedema and lymphatic diseases. And whereas throughout the month of March, the city of Birmingham supports National Lymphedema Awareness Month, urging increased understanding, shedding light on the challenges faced by those affected by it, promoting education, support, and advocacy for those living with lymphedema. Now, therefore, I, Randall Woodfin, Mayor of the City of Birmingham, do hereby proclaim March 6, 2024, and the entire month of March as National Lymphedema Awareness Day and Month. Commending the Lymphatic Center of Hope, LLC, led by Stacy E. Scott, for their invaluable contribution and urging all to join in raising awareness, fostering education, and supporting those affected by lymphedema. We'll bring up Ms. Scott at this time to share a few remarks.
Good morning. I'm so thankful and proud to be here on behalf of those that are suffering from lymphedema. How I got involved in it was as a massage therapist. I've been a massage therapist and the owner of Custom Fit Therapeutic Massage in the Lymphatic Center of Hope. And what happened is I prayed and I asked God, what could I do that other massage therapists aren't doing? And 2 weeks later, a lady walked in and she asked me to help her, and I couldn't help her because she was a survivor of breast cancer and she suffered from lymphedema. And she asked me at that time, she said, if you ever become a certified therapist, because I was familiar with manual lymph drainage, but she said, we have no place to go for treatment. And if you ever become certified, I'm going to blow you up because we have no place to go. Well, in 2019, I went back and I got my certification. I'm one of very few in the state of Alabama that is a lymphedema therapist, and I also accommodate people who are in need of post-op care after surgery. So I want to say thank you for recognizing and making people aware of lymphedema. And tomorrow is officially Lymphedema Awareness Day, and you will see the city building lit up in teal blue in commemoration. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that recognition, and bless you all. Thank you.
All right. One more presentation, Mr. President, members of the council. At this time, I would also like to ask Ms. Vernetta Woodbury, who serves as president of the Greater Birmingham Chapter Number 53 of the National Association of Women in Construction. It's also known as NAWIC. And also chapter members to please join me. And we'd also like to ask Ms. Denise Bell, who serves as our director of the Department of Capital Projects, and members of the Capital Projects team. If you all would please join us at the podium as well. This week marks the 26th annual Women in Construction Week. This week marks the 26th annual Women in Construction Week. This is also a time to raise awareness of the opportunities available for women in the construction industry and to emphasize the growing role of women in the industry. Today, we'll honor them with a special proclamation that I will read in part. And whereas the Greater Birmingham chapter has sought to achieve successful results for metropolitan Birmingham area and surrounding areas in a cooperative spirit with other organizations. The week of March 3rd through 9th, 2024 marks the 26th annual Women in Construction Week, WIC Week, during which NAWIC, NAWIC, will illuminate the vital role of women as visible components of the construction sector. And whereas this occasion provides a platform for NAWIC's thousands of members across the nation to raise awareness of the myriad of opportunities available for women in construction and to underscore the ever-expanding influence and contribution of women within the industry. Now, therefore, I, Randall L. Woodfin, Mayor of the City of Birmingham, Alabama, do hereby proclaim the week of March 3rd through 9th, 2024 as Women in Construction Week in the City of Birmingham, and call upon the people of Birmingham to recognize and honor the contributions of women in construction and in support of NAWIC's mission to empower and elevate women within the industry. We'll get comments next from Ms. Woodbury, and then she'll be followed by Ms. Denise Bell. Ms. Woodbury.
I would like to first of all say thank y'all so much for y'all continued support of Women Construction Week every year. We enjoy coming to different cities across metropolitan Birmingham to make everywhere aware of what we have in Women Construction Week. I would like to say that if you're interested in participating in any events that we have going on this week, we can find the information at www.nawic, which is NAWIC, Greater Birmingham. And that way you can find out different events that we have going on, from a wine and dine event that we have on Thursday and an equipment demo taking place on Thursday, along with several other events. So if you're interested in participating in that, you are welcome to come there and learn information about what we have going on. So thanks so much for the continued support that we have and bringing the awareness to women in construction that is a career that's open for anyone that wants to get your hands dirty or learn about construction. Thank you.
Good morning. Again, Denise Bell, Service Director of Capital Projects here at the city. I want to first publicly thank our mayor, who's not here today, but for not just appointing me to lead this new department, but also seeing me. That in itself means a lot to what we do. So I can't take this credit alone. There's an entire group of people who you do not see that actually are doing the work. But I do have the ladies of Capital Projects here that I'm going to quickly tell you their names because I did promise them they did not have to speak. But I will introduce, because what we do, we cannot do it alone. I can't do it alone. So I'll start with Janae Raines Wilkerson, who actually she's our money person, along with Stephanie, who is our money person as well, but all the resolutions and contracts that you see, Stephanie takes a big part, leads that part. Veronica, who is our chief compliance officer, who keep us out of trouble. Morgan McMahon, she is actually our senior land acquisition agent. She comes to us from from Georgia recently. Lauren Vandiver, who actually keeps us straight, keeps our money straight, makes sure she pays everybody. And Stacy Robinson, who's actually at our field office, who is part of our surveying team. So these are the ladies that actually help us to bring our projects into reality. So thank you for seeing us. Thank you for acknowledging us.
Thank you, ladies. I'll meet you all out in the lobby. Mr. President, members of the council, Madam Pro Tem, that concludes the mayor's report.
Thank you. Councilor Woods, oh, no, all right. Okay. I think we're good. Council Moore.
Yes, so I did have a question, Mr. Chief Sparks. So I recently, got an email from a resident out in Collegeville about the Collegeville Community Center on 29th Street. There's a lot of traffic that takes place, a lot of speeding that takes place on that road. And so wanted to see about, looking into some traffic calming in that area. I think that they've had probably two kids that were almost hit by cars. And so wanted to just bring that to the attention of the administration to see about getting some assistance in that area.
So we got you. We know that there's a couple of requests from councils regarding traffic calming within your respective districts. No, we've received them. Our GA team, take that note, and we'll make sure we get reviews out there.
Yes,
council.
sir. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief Sparks, could I get PEP to give me an update on 2328 20th Avenue North and 24th Street? It's 24th Street North and 20th Avenue, 2328 20th Avenue. It's a 4-unit apartment complex, and they don't have the uniform trash bins, and they got trash is still out there.
Okay, can you say the address again, council?
It's
so we can make sure they get it?
2328 20th Avenue North, but it runs from, when you come down Shuttlesworth, that turns into 24th Street North. So it's right past where they're doing the construction on that little hill by MacArthur.
Okay.
So when you come by there, and you have those abandoned apartments, and then it's right on that corner, right before you get to Bragg's Cleaners.
Okay.
It's 4 units.
Chief.
Thank
we good?
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilor Abbott.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question regarding the traffic calming. I read an email yesterday where VDOT told a resident that it would be 2 years before they would get to the traffic calming that he was requesting. And that made me think that possibly maybe VDOT has run out of money, or they don't have enough money to do the match. So if council members are willing to pay the match part and the neighborhood's willing to pay the money, can we hire this out so that we can get it done more quickly? Because traffic calming is an enormous issue. You had 2 children with this last one that were almost hit by cars, so that's serious. And waiting 2 years to get some traffic calming seems like an awfully long time. So I was just wondering if we as council members, and I'm only committing for me, could put extra money in so we could hire somebody to do it in a more timely fashion.
I'd like to see that email so we can have context on what the
Okay,
recommendation was
I'll
around
be glad to send it to you.
That would
That's
be
no
helpful.
problem. It was widely distributed, but when I read it and I thought, 2 years, I don't want anybody to have to wait for 2 years to get help if there's a serious problem, a safety problem. So I was just wondering if we could provide a little extra funding and maybe contract it out to someone who can move faster because we've provided more money.
So we'll review that, Counselor, and certainly additional resources would always be welcome. But so we can have context on why there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
2-year wait.
Yeah,
Please provide that,
it's-
and we'll do a
Yeah, that's no
follow-up.
problem. There's nothing secret about it. It just struck me that if we wanted to get it moving, you know,
We'll follow up and coordinate, absolutely.
I
Thank you for the
figured
visibility.
throwing money at things always helps. It may not solve the problem, but a little extra cash.
Yes, ma'am.
Good,
Got
thank
you.
you. I'll send that.
Thank you.
Darryl will probably send it before I can.
Yes, ma'am. We'll follow up on it.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Woods?
Thank you, Mr. President. Couldn't resist after hearing Councilwoman Abbott's discussion, but it's almost like she was listening in on our Transportation Committee meetings. But there was some conversation around and a request to the Department of Transportation at one of the recent committee meetings to include that in their budget request in some form or fashion as to what what would be needed to contract with another vendor. Part of it, I know, is just limited manpower. They're doing multiple things internally, and just that process can stretch out to 24 months pretty consistently. Not all, we're kind of looking at that time period once it gets all the way through the process and the speed cushion gets approved. Like what's the time between that approval and installation? And, that should be, in my opinion, 3 to 6 months on the high end. And so we can, figure out how to put some things in place to, if we can't do it internally, to have that option to go externally. Even if we just have a per speed cushion contract in place that we can tap into as that comes up. And I know we added funds to the budget in the past for speed cushions. And so, but yeah, more efficient installation process, I think, is the overarching theme. And I appreciate you bringing it up. Couldn't resist tagging on. Thank you.
And we'll provide follow-up because there's also an assessment period in coordination with our public safety teams too. So that's why I said it would help to know the context of what that 2-year time frame included. It's not just installation, but it's also assessment too. So we'll provide that and make sure that BDOT gives you all that info.
Counselor Clark?
Thank you. It is pretty irresistible. I guess, Chief, this is for both of you all. I know Chaz has been interacting on the Fifth Street Ditch project. We had the Central Pratt meeting. There's a lot of disappointment that the city hasn't done something to cure the erosion issue there. And I just want to say we've gone back and forth, probably since I've been in office, on from meeting Public Works out there with heavy equipment ready to get in the channel, but halting that because we needed a more engineered solution, working through governmental affairs to get Alabama Power, stormwater management, PEP, everybody out there, and coming up with a solution that seemed plausible, getting estimates, but I guess, the conditions they're not going to stay the same, and it couldn't be worked on an emergency basis because we've been talking about it too long, but I think the more we delay, the more urgent it gets. So that's all I want to say about it. We need to stop talking and do something if we're going to do something. So my thought. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Chief Sparks. At this time, I'll read our statement on the conduct of business.
Mr. President.
Sir.
We have some vacancies on board.
Oh, yes, Ms. Clark,
Okay.
do you have announcements of boards and agencies?
Yes, sir. The Industrial Development Board, we have 2 vacancies, David L. Turner and Darrell Ward, both terms in April 10th, 2024. They are 6-year terms, and they're under the Economic Development and Tourism Committee. Then we have the Downtown Redevelopment Authority, Emma Lacey Tolbert. Term expires April the 8th, 2024. It is a 6-year term, and it is also under the Economic Development and Tourism Committee. And before we move on, Mr. President, I want to mention to the council about the All Shucks LLC I was mentioning to you. the insurance did come on file, so there's no need to put it back on as the withdrawal item. So All Shucks has their insurance on file. It was item number 2, I think, February 6th.
Okay, thank you. All right, now I'll read our statement on the conduct of business. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. All items on the consent agenda will be announced by reading the item number only. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member or the mayor requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. Additionally, a citizen interested in addressing the council with respect to an item on the consent agenda designated for public hearing may request the item be removed from the consent agenda to hold the hearing on the item. Any items removed from the consent agenda will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. For remaining matters, all matters of permanent operation will be read and all public hearings will be announced. Do any members of the council wish to add or remove an item from the consent agenda? Yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Clerk, could you go through our consent agenda?
Consent agenda starts on page 2. We have items 1, 2, 3, and 4 on consent. Please note that on item number 2, we received a late recommendation by PEP, but they are recommending the item. That's item 2. Page 3, we have item 5 on consent. Page 5, we have item, I'm sorry, not page 5, I'm missing something. Page 4, we have item 6 on consent. Page 5, we have item 7 on consent. Page 6, item 8 is on consent. Page 7, item 9 is on consent. Page 8, items 10 and 11 are on consent. Page 9, item 12 is on consent. Page 11, items 13 and 14 are on consent. Page 12, item 15 is on consent. Page 13, item number 16 is on consent. Page 14, item number 17 is on consent. Page 15, item 18 is on consent. Page 17, item 19 is on consent. Page 18, item 20 is on consent. Page 19, item 21 is on consent. Page 20, 19, 21, then we go on to page 25, we have item 22 on consent. Page 27, we have item 23 on consent. Page 29, we have item 24 on consent. Page 34, we have item 25 on consent. Page 38, we have items 26, 27, and 28 on consent. Page 39, we have items 29, 30, 31, and 32 on consent. Page 40, we have items 33, 34, and 35 on consent. Page 41, we have items 36, 37, 38, and 39 on consent. Page 42, we have items 40, 41, 42, and 43 on consent. Page 43, we have items 44, 45, 46, and 47 on consent. Page 44, we have items 48, 49, 50, and 51 on consent. Please note that on item number 51, after the address Warrior Road, we need to place in parentheses parking lot. That's parking lot after Warrior Road. Then on item 50, after the zip code, we need to place side yard, in parentheses. Page 45, we have items 52, 53, 54, and 55 on consent. Page 46, we have items 56 and 57 on consent. Page 47, we have item number 61 on consent. Page 48, we have items 62, 63, and 64 on consent. Page 49, we have items 65 and 66 on consent. Page 50, we have items 67, 68, and 69 on consent. Page 51, we have items 70, 71, 72, and 73 on consent. Please note that on item number 72, the amount should be $200. That's on item 72, the amount should be $200. Page 52, we have items 74, 75, 76, and 77 on consent. Page 53, we have items 78, 79, 80, and 81 on consent. And on page 54, we have items 82, 83, and 84 on consent. That concludes the consent agenda.
All right. Now, do any members of the council wish to add or remove items from the consent agenda? Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to remove item 70 from consent.
Is page 51, item 70. Councilor Moore?
Yes, wanted to, not to remove anything, but just to get clarity. So items 27 through 57, along with item, 27 through 57, and item 84 was not recommended by the Community Development Committee. We didn't see those items, and so just wanted to make mention of that.
I think that's, Mr. President, I think that's just that shouldn't be on there. Those usually don't go before a committee.
Yeah.
I think that's just a misprint. Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually just pretty routine, honestly, yeah.
Got you.
But if we've
But
ever-
if we ain't never see it though.
It's been that way. I don't know the committee yet, but I don't know why the process is going.
Can't we just remove it?
Yeah, can't we just take it off?
Yeah, so these are routine items that don't normally come before the Community Development Committee, so there shouldn't be.
Could it be
a note
recommended by the
on
mayor? I said, would it be recommended by the mayor?
Yeah,
As
Mr.
opposed to
President.
committee?
That's
Could
why
I
I
ask
was,
for clarity? What are we asking for, Mr. President?
So the Council Moore is making note of the fact that the items as they appear on the agenda have a recommendation from the committee that he chairs, and the committee actually didn't see these items because they're normal routine items. So Chief Mitchell?
yeah, I just want to apply some clarity. So that is a misprint. It's usually saying it's recommended by the Director of Public, PEP. So that's just a mistake.
Okay,
Right. So
so we can correct.
make that correction, please.
Thank you.
All right. Councilor Clark?
I don't have anything.
No? Councilor Smitherman?
Thank you, Mr. President. If we could remove item 65, I really just need to add something, but we can just remove it.
Okay. Item 65, page 49.
Excuse me.
Any other items?
Mr. President.
Chief Mitchell?
On page 10, item 12, we would like to remove parcel 64.
Does this,
Item 64.
It's actually item number 12. The parcel number is number 64 on page 10.
Page 10, okay. Got it. All right. Okay, so now, do any members of the public wish to remove an item marked as public hearing from the consent agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, I believe we're ready for a motion on the consent agenda. So Abbott and Smitherman. So the consent agenda passes. Next item.
We should be going to item, what, 58 here? Item 58, an ordinance assenting to the annexation of territory contiguous to the corporate limits of the city of Birmingham pursuant to section 11-42-20 through 11-42-24 of the Code of Alabama 1975, as to embrace and include within the corporate area of the city certain territory described in the petition of the Liberty Park Joint Venture LLP, consisting of an approximately 0.736 acre corridor of land located along Interstate 459 in unincorporated Jefferson County. This is an item of permanent operation. First reading, I need UC for first item, so I'll do the roll call.
Motion for unanimous consent.
Okay. And I'll take
Abbott, second.
Moore. Or, is it Moore or Abbott? Or the second, fine, okay. This is for UC. Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Clark.
Aye.
Councilmember Moore. Aye. Councilmember Smitherman. Aye. Councilmember Tate. Aye. Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Woods. Aye. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Aye. Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
All right, motion on the item, please. Item is before you.
Yeah. Motion by Abbott and second by Tate.
All right, item is before you.
Any discussion? I believe we're ready for the vote.
All right, voting should be open. Councilmember Woods. The vote should be up.
Okay. That item passes. Thank you. Next item, please.
Should be item 59. An ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute for and at the act of said city, a lease agreement with Variety Wholesalers Incorporated, under which the city will continue to lease the property located at 3012 27th Avenue North, Birmingham, to Variety Wholesalers for use as a retail store, selling general merchandise for an initial term of 2 years at an annual basic rent of $70,000 plus percentage rent equal to 3% annual gross sales in excess of $2,333,330.33. And a variety of wholesalers will have the option to extend the term of the lease for 2 additional terms of 2 years to each under the same terms and conditions as for the initial term. Again, this is an item of permanent operation, UC, for passage today.
I vote for UC.
Second.
All right,
Smitherman and Moore.
give me 1 second. All right, Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Clark,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Smitherman,
Aye.
Councilmember Tate, Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Woods, Council Pro Tem Alexander, Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
I
Motion.
move the item.
Abbott and Tate.
All right, item is before you.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we're ready for the vote.
All right, voting should be open. Councilmember Clark. That vote should be up.
All right, that item passes. Next item, please.
Item 60, an ordinance authorizing the mayor upon receipt of payment in the amount of $5,466.94 to execute a quitclaim deed to John Regal for the sale of property legally described as Lot 23, Block 20, Birmingham Realty. COS ad number 4 is recorded in the map book 9, page 14, in the office of the judge of probate, Jefferson County, Alabama, parcel ID 220242990, city account 6093, and located at 1409 32nd Street, North Birmingham, which was required by the city upon foreclosure of municipal improvement liens in accordance with section 3-1-4C of the General Code of the City of Birmingham. This is another item of permanent operation under UC to pass today.
I vote for UC.
Second.
Smitherman and Moore.
All right, item is wait a minute, more vote here. Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
Councilmember Clark. Aye. Councilmember Moore. Aye. Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Tate. Aye. Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Woods. Aye. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
All right, a motion on the item.
Move the item.
Second.
Smitherman and Abbott.
All right, item is before you.
Any discussion? All right, ready for the vote?
All right. Voting should be open. Council Pro Tem Alexander. Sorry. That vote should be up.
All right, the motion passes. Next item, please.
I think we're going to 65. Item 65. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute various agreements with various vendors in the amount not to exceed $2,500 per attendee, including registration for up to one member from each of the committees represented by the 23-member Citizens Advisory Board and up to 10 community resource service employees of the city of Birmingham to attend the 2024 Reclaiming Vacant Properties Conference in St. Louis, Missouri, from October the 9th, 2024 through October the 11th, 2024. Attendees representing the communities must be a current officer in good standing and cannot attend more than one conference in a calendar year. The cost of the registration for each attendee is not to exceed $750. The events will serve to educate and train the neighborhood officers and CRRS on a vision of communities and provide information that will benefit those seeking resources for community and economic development within the city of Birmingham. Said funds to come from the respective neighborhood associations. Motion, please.
Move the item. Second.
Items before we.
It was Smitherman and Alexander. Councilor Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I had a neighborhood officer that wanted to attend this conference, and so she asked that we amend this so we could allow one. I mean, we could probably limit it to one officer per neighborhood, but she wanted to go and get this valuable information. And I know I can vet for her. She's a great note taker, very active in the neighborhood, but I think they should be allowed to go to this. And I've gone to it before. I think Councilor Woods did, and a few of us went, and Councilor Clark, and it was really very valuable. So I would like to move to amend the item and add that neighborhood, well, I guess what, up to maybe 10 neighborhood officers? Should I put should I put a certain number, or should I just? It's item 65. It only has CRRs and who is this? Citizens Advisory Board, yeah. So it doesn't include neighborhood officers.
I have a question.
Councilor Alexander.
Councilor Smitherman, I'm in agreement. I just wanted to hear from the department, what was the reason for just limiting that to the community members or CAB members?
Good morning, council. My name is Alice Williams, and I serve as Deputy Director of Community Resource Services. We recommended the 23 members of the community leadership just to limit the number of people that were attending because we're scheduling 3 conferences this year. So to keep other people, aside from neighborhood leadership, from attending, we just recommended the community level of leadership. It does not prohibit neighborhood officers, but it just limits it to community leaders only. So if they serve in any capacity in the 23 communities, they could. So if they were not, it even includes if you were a secretary, as long as it's on the community level.
Okay, gotcha. So
Just to clarify, so at the community level, there's president, vice president, secretary. So is this neighborhood officer in one of those positions?
she's not. That's why she wanted me to amend it.
Right.
So that doesn't prohibit the neighborhood from voting to send her, does it?
Yeah, it does, because she has to be a member of the community level of leadership. So it is totally up to the council how you want to proceed. I would recommend you not send 10 people per neighborhood, though, because that's a lot of paperwork for us.
Well, I was gonna say 10 neighborhood officers, not 10
Okay,
per neighborhood.
okay.
Or, I just don't want to limit her if she wants to go.
So Councilor Smitherman,
And there are scholarship opportunities as well. So if they're interested in that, they can look at that link and apply for scholarships as well for that program. I think Chris Mosley did it one year and got a scholarship.
Okay, gotcha.
so just to clarify, you have made a motion to amend this item to add 10 neighborhood officers to the item. neighborhood association
I was
officers.
about to, but then I think I stopped. Because I was really asking a question about how the council felt, because I wouldn't do it if everybody didn't want to do it. Because if there's a scholarship program, I would even help her out to fill out the application or get her help at the library.
Councilor Abbott?
Yeah, I had a question about this item also. So we have the Reclaiming Vacant Properties Conference, we have the NUSA Conference, and we have the Main Street Now Conference. And I was originally under the impression that any neighborhood officer could go to one conference a year. So if I'm a neighborhood officer and I'm not a CAB officer, and I have a burning desire to go to Reclaiming Vacant Properties, it seems to me if that's the one conference that that neighborhood wants to send somebody to and skip NUSA and skip Main Street, then they should be able to do that. I guess I'm having a hard time understanding or grasping maybe why only CAB members would be allowed to go. What if none of the 3 CAB members in my community want to go and I want to go and I'm a neighborhood officer? I don't see what the problem would be with the neighborhood voting for their person to go to Reclaiming Vacant Properties, because lots of people want to know how to reclaim vacant properties. This is a big deal in neighborhoods. So, I'm thinking, if you only want to go to one conference, just pick one.
So again, we selected just the 23 because in our department, we have to facilitate these 3 conferences. We have to arrange air, travel, accommodations, and when we get there, in most instances, we have to assist the residents, even though we require them to do documentation that says that they can travel on their own and things like that. So it's also about our staffing being able to assist with taking at least 200 people to 2 sets of conferences this year outside of the city and the one inside the city. So it's a staffing issue for us, but I mean, like I said, I cannot limit the council, so if you wanted to recommend, one person from each of the neighborhood, but again, it's a staffing issue for us and it's accommodating because we have to do all of the travel arrangements. They don't do travel arrangements. So we make all those arrangements ourselves.
Chief Sparks?
Yes, Mr. President. So one of the things that the staff was looking to do was make sure they were comporting with the CAB's bylaws. But certainly the staff will defer to the council's pleasure. So whatever amendments you'd like to make to be able to accommodate, we'll do that. But the template was based on that.
Okay. Councilor Williams?
Yeah, a question, Ms. Williams, about what you just said. So what do you mean your staff has to help the citizens through the conference?
We assist with the registration. We have a travel agent that we use, but we assist with registration. We assist with, we try to get the travel agent to do the flight, and we do hotel accommodations. So in light of us not having a travel agent last year to book the hotels, a lot of people had to do their own hotels, and so there were issues with that. When we travel, on the day of travel, we have to assist officers who might need assistance, with getting on the flights, getting off the flights, getting to our shuttles, that sort of stuff. So we have to arrange shuttle services and ground service once we get to those destinations as well. So this time, because this was our first time attending this conference, I wanted to just kind of get a feel of how it would look if we took a small delegation to see what this Reclaiming Properties Conference could do for the community, because they are communities. They're supposed to be sharing this information back with the neighborhood association. So our goal was to try to get a small delegation to attend just to see how that would work for us, but we're fine.
I got a question. So hypothetically, the way this is set up, you could have a neighborhood sending different people to each of these conferences. So in theory, if one neighborhood officer, or if each neighborhood officer wanted to attend a different conference, The way it's established right now looks like a neighborhood could, expend funds to do that, to send 3 people each to a different conference.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, I'm okay. I just wanted to publicly ask administration about it because she did ask. And so I did promise her I would ask her at council meeting about it. But now that I know there are scholarships and, we'll be able to help her though. I just want to make sure she has the opportunity to hear the reasoning behind everything. Thank you.
I'm going to offer a motion to delay this item for 2 weeks. All right. We're ready for the vote.
1 second, give me 1 second, pull it up. Second was by,
Delay 2 week.
Question. Can I ask a question at this point? The delay is to give us opportunity to get more information related to opportunities for
Yes.
more inclusiveness to attend or opening this up? Just trying to get
Yeah.
that information.
I mean, I have some additional questions, but, historically, this has been somewhat contentious amongst, the council in the past, travel in general for neighborhood officers. So, I'd like to provide some space for us to have some additional conversation about that. And, in part because the way this is set up, it can, allow for the potential significant expansion of that type of activity. So, I'd like to give the council the opportunity to kind of think about that and let's discuss it. Okay, I believe we're ready for the vote now. All right, so a 2 week delay on that item passes. Next item, please.
which is on page 51. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a right-of-way encroachment license agreement whereby the Board of Trustees of the University of Alabama, on behalf of the University of Alabama at Birmingham for the University of Alabama at Birmingham Police Department, is allowed to install and maintain 2 automated license plate readers along the public right-of-way that abuts the UAB campus in the vicinity of University Boulevard South, providing the UAB Police Department with alerts to identify wanted or unpermitted vehicles, thereby helping their police department to work more efficiently and monitoring real-time events in and around campus. Motion, please.
I move approval.
Second.
Abbott and Smitherman.
Item is before you.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Councilor Abbott.
Yeah, I asked this to be pulled off simply to ask the question, since this is going to be on our right-of-way, will our police department and real-time crime center have access to it also?
So we have a couple of people here, David Dada from UAB, and we also have our Chief Land Acquisition Agent from the city, who can speak to it after Mr. Dada answers.
Good morning, Council. So to answer your question, I can't speak specifically to the real-time crime center, but I do know that the Birmingham Police Department uses this flock camera technology, and one of the reasons why we wanted to deploy it as well was to synergize with them. So again, I don't want to speak specifically to what I don't know, but I know it is meant to promote like synergy and efficiency with like spotting any like unwanted vehicles on the campus.
Yeah, and this would not be on the campus. This will be on the streets that surround the campus. So I know where one of the locations is, even though I'm not supposed to know. And so, well, when you're doing construction, you know, you kind of notice things. So, but all I want to know is just, does the UAB police and the Birmingham police, are they linked together in
Yes.
some way and sharing information so that if the bad guy speeds past that location, will Birmingham know that he sped by there at the same time that UAB will know, or do y'all have to call up and say the bad guy just sped by on some street?
Yeah, so again, I want to be responsible and not speak to the logistics that I don't know, but I do know, to answer your initial question, they are, like UAB Police Department and Birmingham PD are connected. And that's already before we had the flock cameras, and this is just like amplifying that connection.
Okay, well, that's good. That was all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Council Williams.
So I have one question for you on that. So obviously with the flock camera system, there's the connectivity because of the flock cloud. But UAB also has an extensive camera system that is not part of the flock system. That is my understanding that you guys do not actively share with the Real-Time Crime Center. If we approve this, would y'all be willing to share and there is ample cameras throughout the UAB system with the Real-Time Crime Center?
So I can make a note of that and reach out to our campus police chief, Dr. Dale Green, and make sure I follow up with you personally in that regard.
Thank you.
I believe we're ready for the vote. All right, that item passes. Any other items?
I think that does it for the items.
All right, brings us to the end of our items, so,
They have one UC.
oh yes, addendum item.
Well, this is a recommendation for a UC for a moratorium on automated car wash uses and structures in the city of Birmingham. You should have the draft copy in front of you. So if we were going to pass it today, of course, I would need UC and,
Motion
to pass
for
the item.
UC.
That was Councilor Clark and seconded by Smitherman.
Give me 1 second. I don't have the item. Let me make the item right quick. Clark and Smitherman. Okay, here's for the UC. And Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Clark,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore. Aye. Councilmember Smitherman. Aye. Councilmember Tate. Aye. Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Woods. Aye. Councilor Pro Tem Alexander. Aye. Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
All right, motion
I
on the item.
move the item.
All right, item is before you.
Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, I believe we're ready for the vote.
Voting should be open.
All right, that item passes. Now, I believe we're done with all the items on the agenda, and we're ready for announcements. Councilor Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wanted to celebrate, shout out the Huffman girls Vikings basketball team. They made it to the state championship for the second year in a row. Lost to Hazel Green on Saturday, but incredible season. Want to shout out Coach Lane Slater for her leadership. AD Steve Ward and Principal John Lyons to do a great job with the athletics at the school, and really excited to see those young ladies excel at such a high level. We're going to try to work it out where they can come back down again here and meet all of you, but an incredible season, and looking forward to all the great things they're going to accomplish going forward. So that's it today.
All right, thank you, Councilor Woods. Councilor Tate?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thomas Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight at 6 p.m. at the Mount Hebron Baptist Church. Civico Finley Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Wednesday, March the 6th at a Civico Plant Community Room. Wylam Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Thursday, March the 7th at 6 p.m. at Faith Chapel Christian Center in Room 126. in North Birmingham neighborhood will have their meeting on Thursday, March the 11th. I'm sorry, on Monday, March the 11th at 6 p.m. at the North Birmingham Rec Center. The next public safety meeting will be held on March the 26th at 1 p.m. in the council chamber. Please submit agenda items by Wednesday, March the 6th, no later than 12 noon, to patrice.collins at birminghamal.gov and Gregory.Stanley at birminghamal.gov. Mr. President, I want to just lift up a situation that took place this weekend in my district and just speak to that. I'm very concerned about the homicide that took place at the short-term rental. Just really wanted to say that we cannot continue to allow these, to keep on happening, in this city. I know, some ordinance is being worked on and just, work alongside with the mayor and BPD, to get this matter, resolved and just making sure that we get a grip on those who have these short-term rentals, in residential neighborhoods and not really paying them attention because the impact is there after the aftermath. A lot of these places are owned by investors, and so don't live in the city, and then the community is left to deal with the aftermath. So just really wanted to lift that up and let my constituents know that we are standing, with them to make sure that we get something in place to protect those that have lived in these neighborhoods for quite a long time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Council Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. Economic Development and Tourism will be meeting today in conference rooms D and E following this meeting. Eastwood neighborhood will be having their meeting Thursday, March the 7th at 6:30 at Habitat. We have 2 vacancies, which the clerk has already mentioned. Applicants that are for the Industrial Development Board. They may not be an officer or employee of the city of Birmingham. All interested applicants should submit their resume to India Bailey via email at india.bailey@birminghamal.gov. Or you can snail mail us a resume at our address here, which is 710 North 20th Street, 3rd floor. Make it addressed to our office. And then we would like to receive all resumes by Friday, April the 1st. Thank you.
All right. Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you very much. I do want to apologize for my tardiness this morning. I missed the presentation of Pastor Mullins and the students here today from Miracle Academy. They're a very vital part of District 7, and I'm just very excited for the work they do, providing miracles for children within the community. So thank you, Pastor Mullins. Glad to see you today. These are the announcements for District 7. On Monday, March 11th, the Powderly Neighborhood Association will meet at 5:30 at the Henry Crumpton Rec Center. Oxmoor Neighborhood Association will meet at 6 p.m. on Monday at the Oxmoor Valley Community Center, and bulk trash and brush pickup is scheduled for Oxmoor Valley for that neighborhood. Yesterday, we had a great time here in the city of Birmingham. We had a parade where we were honoring our girls 5A football champions. They are the champions not only for 5A, but for the state. This is a growing sport, and I know that we all recognized them several weeks ago after they had their championship game. So we had a great time yesterday, and thank you very much, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. Announcements for District 8. Because of Super Tuesday, the Fairview Neighborhood Meeting has been postponed from today to tomorrow. That's Wednesday, March 6th at 5:30 via conference call. You can call my office at 205-254-2304 to get the dial-in information. Also, the Thomas neighborhood, which is also meeting today, has decided on a different location because of the election. So that meeting will be held at the Greater St. Thomas Baptist Church located at 153 First Street, Thomas. Also, the Magic City Blight Busters, tongue twister. They're looking for dedicated volunteers to help fight blight and bring back the magic to our neighborhoods. So this Saturday, they're hosting a cleanup in Bellevue Heights. They'll meet up at 4,000 Avenue I from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. The registration starts at 7:30 and everyone is welcome. Please save the date for the annual Fair Housing Seminar and Luncheon, which takes place on April 17th at the Birmingham Botanical Gardens. This wonderful event is hosted by the Fair Housing Center of North Alabama, and we'll provide additional details as we get closer to the event. The Five Points West Regional Library is celebrating 20 years in the new library building. You know, new is relative around here, but relatively new library building, only 20 years old. So we're grateful to count the library as a partner and look forward to their continued presence as a center of community life in Western Birmingham. If you're looking for a fun way to get active and meet up with your neighbors, you can join us every Thursday, weather permitting, for a walk around the Crossplex. We meet up at the Starbucks promptly at 8 and walk for about 1.5 miles. All paces are welcome. That concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Moore?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Happy Election Day. Make sure to cast your ballot today. Polls close at 7 p.m. This weekend, we will host a cleanup with Black Warrior Riverkeeper and the Kingston Neighborhood Association. We'll meet at Stockham Park at 9 a.m. this Saturday. Join us, come on out, and volunteer. The Birmingham Public Library Bookmobile will also be located in Eastlake Park on March the 14th from 12 to 1 p.m. So come out, read a good book, feed some ducks. Let me see, we have the Fairmont Heights or Fairmont Neighborhood Association that's taking place today at 6 p.m. We will have the Broomit Heights Neighborhood Association that will take place on Thursday at 1 p.m. at Brownsville Heights Community Center. And then we will also have Inglenook, Woodlawn, and Roebuck and Airport Highlands that will take place on this upcoming Monday. The Community Development Committee will meet in council chambers at 2 p.m. on tomorrow, and the Parks and Rec Board will meet tomorrow morning at Legion Field at 9 a.m. And I also wanted to say hello to Reverend Mullins and the students at Miracle Academy. How y'all doing? That concludes my announcement.
All right, thank you. Councilor Abbott?
Thank you, Mr. President. The next planning and zoning meeting is going to be held on Wednesday, March 13th at 3:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. I would like to remind people to go vote today. It's just so very important to vote. I was in an election one time where if I had had 8 more votes, I wouldn't have been in a runoff. I wouldn't have had to raise all that extra money and go through all that extra grief. So if you think your vote doesn't count, you would be wrong. Sometimes your vote counts a whole lot to someone. So I just want to remind you, your vote is important. I don't care if your state is red, blue, pink, purple, whatever color, it's still important to make your opinion known. Neighborhood associations, the Forest Park South Avondale neighborhood, which normally meets tonight, will not be meeting tonight due to the election. The room that they meet in is the room that people vote in, so they have moved their neighborhood meeting till next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. at the Avondale Library. I wanted to give a shout out to our own PEP department because I attended yet another coffee and with code enforcement, and I'm going to attend another one. It was great. It was at Central Park, and my only complaint about the whole thing is the room was too small for the number of people who wanted to be there, which is like a good problem and a bad problem. But these coffee with code enforcement meetings are so educational. You need to go to 3 or 4 of them just to get all the information. And they have all the people who do the work there so that you can see their faces, you can see who they are, and they can tell you what they do and how they do it. And residents can ask questions to get confirmation that they understand. You know, the resident role is to report things because the city can't be everywhere at once. But then it's interesting to hear what they do when they take the ball and start running with it. And so I recommend, I know they're going to have at least one more because they said they would have one in the evening for people who worked in the daytime so that, you know, they could attend too, because 10 to 12 in the morning is not really good for people who work 8 to 5 at a job, you know, unless they want to take a day of vacation. So I'm very appreciative of the work that PEP has done to help educate us, because I learned new things, and I've been around here for a heck of a long time. So every resident, I mean, we all have things we don't know, but they are doing an excellent job, and I just wanted to say that if you have an opportunity to attend the one in the evening, you should do it. Other things, certainly 311. One thing that I did learn about front yard parking is that they told us at the code enforcement meeting, rather than calling 311 and getting lost in the, you know, in that system, if it's front yard parking, the police handle it. And you can call either the non-emergency number or the precinct to let them know that there's a problem. And especially in neighborhoods where you have people who repeatedly, they park in the yard so much that they create a big mud hole. Then that was an interesting thing to find out. You don't have to call 311 for that. But everybody should call 311 for all the other stuff, or use the app, which I think is a lot more fun because you can add photos. But if you don't turn it in, you can't expect it to get fixed, because there are just not enough city employees out there driving around looking for things to do. So if you turn it in, there is a much better chance something will be done. So thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. President. As far as neighborhood meetings, today we will have Oakwood Place will be at 4 o'clock at Harrison Park Recreation Center. Mason City will meet today at 4:30 p.m. via teleconference. The dial-in number is 712-778017, and the code is 843-426. Then tomorrow, North Titusville will meet at Memorial Park Recreation Center, and that will be at 5 p.m. Then on Monday, West End Manor will meet at 5 p.m. at New Hope Baptist Church. The next Budget and Finance meeting will actually meet on Monday, March 25th, so we will not meet this Monday due to NLC. Submissions are due Wednesday, March 20th by noon. Submissions received afternoon will be placed on the next Budget and Finance agenda. Again, the next Budget and Finance meeting will be Monday, March 25th. Also, the Budget Town, 2024 Budget Town Hall, which Chief Sparks mentioned before with Mayor Woodfin and the rest of the council, will be on March 18th at 6 p.m. at the Boutwell Auditorium. This opportunity to really just make sure everybody knows how the budget works, because usually we have a very expansive detailed kind of workshop, and they kind of explain everything. We want to make sure the constituents know where their tax dollars are going. So I really appreciate the administration and council leadership for listening to the idea, and hopefully we can get a lot of people going and people can learn some things as well. Speaking of which, I have a, Council Abbey, I brought something to mind, code enforcement booklet. Mr. President, what's going on with that? Because I know at one point, I think you were trying to do it. Are we on track to release something to the constituents sometime soon?
So one of the major things that has changed in that past version, which I believe the original code enforcement booklet was created during the Kincaid administration. Since then, the big piece that's changed is the uniform garbage cart component. So that booklet, there are many parts of that booklet that are still relevant, but that uniform garbage cart and how we do waste collection has changed significantly, so that would need to be updated.
Okay, I know when I was chair of PIC, Chief Mitchell was helping me out to really revise and update our code enforcement ordinances, which I kind of pass on to Council more, and we can talk about more. So I think that's a really big component and really one of the citywide issues I would like for us to continue on the policy level to make sure we have everything in place. And then I had a good time this past Friday, y'all. I had the cutest little first graders at Hemp Hill in Washington K through 8. We read Dr. Seuss' book at Hemp Hill. They were so cute. And then we talked about Black boy and girl joy. So we talked about saying I am enough, being kind, being a good person. And they actually read along with me. They are so intelligent. So I really had a good time with them. And then they told me I had to come back and we had to create slime and to play Simon Says. So I really enjoyed talking to them, the next generation of kids. Also, Counselor Woods went with me. I know Counselor Tate couldn't go. With Dr. Nadia Richardson, she had her second annual Black Women Mental Health Institute Women's History Luncheon. She brought Miss USA 2019's mom there. If you don't know, a couple of years ago, she actually committed suicide. She jumped off a high-story building in New York, and she was an inspiration to me. She was a lawyer. I mean, just seemed like a beautiful person inside and out. And so I think that really brought a lot of awareness, especially to the Black community. So she did a really good job with that. And then 5 districts, District 1, District 5, District 6, District 7, and District 9. We gave those scholarship grants out in collaboration with the Penny Foundation, and we awarded them this past Wednesday or Thursday. And so I know the council Facebook page has everything on there, but I thought that was a great program. Everybody enjoyed it. So I just want people to make sure that, supporting our small businesses is not only a priority for Mayor Wolfen, but I think for all 9 of us. So thank you. Also, I forgot to say happy birthday to my dad. His birthday was this past Saturday. And happy birthday, Councilor Moore. Thank you.
All right. Former Counselor Hoyt's not here to sing you happy birthday, so we'll spare you. All right. For District 5, well, first of all, for the council in general, please be advised that there will not be a council meeting next week. The majority of the council will be traveling next week for the National League of Cities Congressional Cities Conference in Washington, D.C. So no council meeting next week. The Eastlake Neighborhood Association, normally scheduled for tonight, has been rescheduled to next Tuesday, March 19th. That'll be at 6 p.m. at the Household of Faith Church. The Wahoma Neighborhood Association will meet on Thursday, March 7th at 6 p.m. at the Southern Museum of Flight. Gate City Neighborhood Association is scheduled for next Monday, March 11th at 4 p.m. at the Marks Village Campus of Hope. Oak Ridge Park Neighborhood Association will meet also next Monday, March 11th at 6 p.m. at the Harris Home Recreation Center. As Councilor Smitherman mentioned, the City Council and in conjunction with Mayor Woodfin are hosting a educational event on the city budget. We're calling it a Budget Town Hall. That's going to be Monday, March 18th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Boutwell Auditorium. The Transportation Committee will meet on Monday, March 25th. There's opportunity to tour the Animal Control Center located near the airport at 1 p.m. So please join us if you're available for that. And with that, I believe we've come to the ends of our announcements. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I'll get it together sooner or later. Mr. Clerk, public speakers, please.
Earl, is it Seller? Seller.
All right. As you're approaching the dais, please remember to state your name and address. You have 3 minutes, and please watch the monitors for your time.
I ain't gonna be up here that long. I'm sorry. Earl Salary, Head Council, City Council. I live at 904 3rd Street West in the College Hills area. I'm here to speak about some personal things that happened to me, and I'm pretty sure they happened to somebody else other than me. And as I'm going through this process, there's nobody to actually talk to. There's no like if you want to file like a civil case against a store or a company, there's nobody to go to. Legal aid, right across the street, is, to me, humorous because they can't help you with anything. It's, I've had to endure living in Birmingham, and I'm about to start crying every time I talk about this. I can show you a picture of the bathroom at the job, and if I say something, I'm gonna lose my job. That's what happens. That's how I keep losing my job every time I say something to a supervisor about being harassed and I'm not from Birmingham, so I'm from Boston, so it's hard for me to get, things done. But it's really sad, and before it happens to anybody, and somebody get hurt, I just want to know, what are we supposed to do? I heard you say, tell somebody. For what? Nothing's going to come of it, this is the latrine that they want us to use at the job. Take a look at that. You put out your private parts and something like that. Now let me show it to somebody. And I won't be at work. They're gonna fire me. And it happens every time. Every time I tell somebody I've been harassed or I'm scared of somebody because they're pulling out a gun, I lose my job. I told the supervisor, I told my immediate supervisor, now, and it's the housing authority, if I'm not mistaken, that is employing these illegal immigrants, I'm just gonna say, because every time they do the pay thing, they go down there to get their ID, to see how much they're getting paid, they always gotta come back the next day. So they're building the Park Haven over here where the Southtown Projects is. Go in there, just walk by, see how many illegal immigrants you see. And I'm just speculating because they never have their ID when the guy comes. The guy, Jason Chambers, he pulled a gun on a young lady over there. He killed somebody. He killed the superintendent over at the job site. He killed somebody. His daughter's the magistrate in the little city where he lives, though. He was at work the same day. Yeah, so when I tell people I'm scared, it's laughed at. Why? Because I'm a big black dude with dreads in my hair? No, I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want nobody to hurt me or my kids. I shouldn't have to lose my job because I'm in fear of my life. They said his wife killed herself. I don't know. But he walks around with a gun on his hip, told the police, the EEOC. It's just a joke. Legal aid here in Birmingham, try to get an attorney without some money. And watch what happens. Let me just. But I don't even know why I'm here, but.
Mr. Salary, can I ask you a question? Are you employed by the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District?
No, I was subcontracted through them, like staff zone.
And the subcontractor is working on the redevelopment of the Southtown property?
Yeah, they did the other ones. And this is my thing, is that because I mentioned something, I lost my job. There's no telling how many other people that went through this because I saw it happen to other people. I got witnesses. I got to go through this process with the EEOC and the Labor Division first before I can even try to file a civil suit. But I lost my job going through this with my female and my car, my son, and everything. But do you think they care? No. His cousin pulled up out there and brought him on lower tabs. Everything was fine that day. And he told me, if I don't feel good, you don't have a job. So he has to have his hydrocodone on in order for everybody to have a good day. But who do we have to go to when these things happen to us? No one. Legal aid is a joke here in Birmingham. The only way you can get an attorney is if you kill somebody. That's what it seems. Because if you try to do the right thing, you're probably going to lose your job. I wasn't even trying to be a whistleblower. I was just trying to get it documented so somebody would know that I said something. And they ended up telling me not to come back to the job site. And I was able to take her to work because we were working with one vehicle, take her to work. I go straight up the street and go to work. Now I got to travel in a whole nother direction. But do you think they care? No, they don't. And I've been trying to tell my kids, live in Birmingham, we can make it. Just work hard, just do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Salary.
Elizabeth Shaheed.
extension.
I'm a little short. Hi, you all. My name is Elizabeth Shaheed. I am a Birmingham resident. I work at UAB Hospital, and I'm a Palestinian Christian who's also a member of the St. George Melkite Christian Church in the Glen Iris neighborhood of Birmingham. I get asked a lot, when did my family, my Palestinian Christian family, convert to Christianity? And I laugh because I tell them that around the time that Jesus walked this earth, people tend to forget that the original Christians of the world brought Jesus from Bethlehem, Palestine to the West, not the other way around. So it's my understanding that you all received an email yesterday about a ceasefire in Gaza, Palestine, and that's what I'd like to discuss today. So I'm a Palestinian Christian American, and I was born and raised here in Birmingham. My Palestinian Christian community came to Birmingham from Palestine in the 1960s and helped Birmingham grow to what it is today. My community has opened restaurants, other businesses, assisted in improving education. And if you live in Birmingham or work in Birmingham, you've probably heard of the Middle Eastern Food Festival that we put on for the last 40 years that we provide to our community and the public. Right now, the Birmingham Palestinian community is mourning the loss of life that we're witnessing in our homeland of Palestine. And at this specific time in the last 76 years, since October 2023, 30,000 lives have been lost from the city of Gaza in Palestine. At a higher daily rate than any other 21st century conflict, including the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. Birmingham's Palestinian community is struggling with understanding how $33 million of Alabama's taxes goes towards the funding of the slaughtering of our own people in Palestine. But my Birmingham Palestinian community is also hopeful that our magic city of Birmingham will join 70 other cities in the United States that have called for a humanitarian ceasefire. This will continue Birmingham's legacy as one of the most historic places in the U.S., known for the major battles in the civil and human rights movement. I hope you'll read over that email that was sent to you yesterday and the attachments also, and consider submitting and advancing the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
George Creer.
Good morning. My name is George Creer. I'm the neighborhood president for Roosevelt. I live at 6025 Martin Luther Avenue. And I come to you today in 2021, we submitted a strategic micro-level framework plan for upgrades in our neighborhood. And we are requesting that you help to fund the repairs that we're asking for, because we know that money has been allocated to you to help all of the neighborhoods. And we need your support to make our neighborhood a positive and enjoyable place to live, not only in Roosevelt, but for the entire city of Birmingham. Thank you for my comments.
Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Career. Very happy to see you here today. We appreciate the information that you've shared. I know that you also shared this information with other counselors, as well as sent us a letter. I applaud the neighborhood and the desire for the community revitalization, and I know that a project manager had been hired that helped to prepare most of this information and bring it forward. So I'm very happy to see that the neighborhood wants to help with the revitalization of the community. I do have my chief of staff outside. We're going to talk with you more about that. There is the Southwest Framework Plan that's already being discussed among areas within District 7 and throughout the
southwestern side of Birmingham that could also help to thrust and move this forward. And in working with community development and other agencies within the city, we could also provide some of the revitalization that we'd like to bring about. So I'm happy to see you here today. We're going to talk with you further so that we can just help and assist the neighborhood. It's my neighborhood too, so I'm definitely want to see this revitalization not only brought within D7, but throughout the western section of Birmingham. So I really want to applaud you all for the work that you've done, and we're going to talk with you more about it. I think you've got other councilors that want to speak as well.
Council Clark.
Yes, I just wanted to echo my colleagues' comments and say hello. I met you and your wife and I guess a consultant that you all hired at, I guess it was a roundup of banks, and it was out at the Alabama Workforce Training Center. And I was just really impressed that you all are taking action to sort of galvanize your ideas and priorities in your neighborhood. I think that's a really important first step, because when you have built consensus in your neighborhood about what's important, it's easier, for other people, it's easier to communicate it and evidence it. And, I'm a strong proponent of that kind of planning, because I've seen it really work wonders in my own neighborhood. So I know it gets discouraging because it feels like nothing's happening, but just, organizing your ideas like this is a very important first step. And I just want to, tell you all to stay the course. I know you've been out there beating the bushes, and it can be hard to find, support and a way forward. But just trust me, this is an important first step. And socializing it to us is also important. So good luck. And,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Mr. Greer.
All right, Councilor Smitherman.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for your involvement. I really am impressed. I think other neighborhoods should honestly take the lead in what you're doing, the vision that you want for your community. Rome wasn't built in a day. A lot of these issues didn't happen overnight, but I think having a plan and working with Madam President is great. I do want to commend her. She has really revitalized that whole district since she's been in office, especially Roosevelt City. So I know she will do her best to continue to advocate on behalf of your neighborhood.
And we're following your example.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greer. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Chief of Staff Hall is right out there, so we can talk further. Thank you.
All right,
Mr. Wailers? Did they leave you?
Shannon Waller.
I think he left, I guess.
Yep.
Oh. That's an 8.
Thank you. My name is Shannon Waters. I'm with the Laborers Union and represent the building trades of Birmingham. I am part of the 1229 22nd Street with the Laborers Union Local 559. So first of all, I want to say thank you for giving me a chance to speak. I want to speak a little bit about item 68 and the U.S. Department of Transportation grant. So we know that looking forward for this grant process, one thing that the administration has asked for is a comprehensive comprehensive apprenticeship program within the grant process. So we want to make sure that the city is aware that we're here. We're ready to partner with you. We have men and women ready to go to work. So, and we've seen some of y'all have came before us for endorsements, seeking our endorsement, have received our endorsements. And then we've seen some of the priorities focus on the capital development, the equality, better government contracting opportunities, and some of the city council want to prioritize community and citizen empowerment, quality of life for the city of Birmingham. And most important thing we see across the board is crime and gun violence. So let's talk a few things that we can address these issues. Through apprenticeship, we can train and create good jobs for the community and for the citizens of Birmingham. Comprehensive RBO, which is a responsible bidders ordinance that can help to ensure that the good contractors would not be punished by the bad contractors. So we know that through the certain surveys that bad contractors save 30 to 40% by cheating their workforce and the citizens of this city, by not paying them overtime and referencing them as 1099 employees or subcontractors versus employees. We know that the infrastructure money that is coming into this city will help rebuild this city's broken infrastructure and needs, but we also know that these competitive grants also reward the cities and states that have a plan in place to include apprenticeship, local hire, and community benefits agreements. A community benefits agreement will ensure that the citizens of our communities will have a voice on how its money is being spent and ensure that the community is not left out. We have several unions in this room. If they could, please stand up. These are representatives of all of our building trade unions throughout the city. And we look forward to working with you and ensure that our members and your citizens have a voice to get out to work, making a living wage with good benefits so that our Birmingham can grow and have equality within our community. Thank you.
Councilor Smithman?
Thank you. It's so good to see you all. You guys are some of my favorite people. And my dad was a part of the labor union before he became a state senator and worked for HR. So we really understand the importance of unions. I know previously, I'll have to ask Mayor Whiffen for this. He did come to some of the meetings for some of the labor unions, trying to coordinate that with Birmingham Promise, and we can try to get that update as far as the youth side. So we understand the importance you all play, and we'll make sure to consider that in our decisions. I know Council Woods, he left, but he had breakfast with the contractors a couple of weeks ago, so we can try to connect you all. But thank you for bringing that awareness to our attention, and we'll make sure to continue to work with you all.
Thank you.
Yep. Councilor Tate?
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you guys have information that you can provide to us about your unions and the training, the jobs and stuff that you guys have
Sure.
to give to people in the community?
Sure. So I'm glad you told them that, Councilwoman. So the good thing about the laborers union is we can employ and train as many people as the community can give us. But we've got to ensure that the city of Birmingham is willing to give the contractors and force them to the table to make sure their contractors are providing a living wage and benefits and willing to partner with unions. So once again, I can train 1,000 people next week, but if we don't have jobs to put them on, then it does no good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of that is intersect, as you said, when you look at, what's happening around the country, with the level of gun violence.